Have you ever felt the air change around you, like the room gets still in a way you can't explain, like your heartbeat syncs with something bigger than your breathing? If that happened to you even once, pause for a second and do two simple things. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next word. God is trying to move through here. And in the comments, type, I feel it. If you've ever sensed something holy drawing near, say it like you mean it. This message is for the ones who are already listening. This is not coincidence. This is not good timing. This is not luck. Chosen ones, there is a season when your life tilts, quietly, insistently, and everything starts aligning toward one impossible, beautiful appointment, a meeting with God. I'm going to describe what that season feels like, how your body, your spirit, and your ordinary days change before that encounter, and how you can walk into it ready, steady, and surrendered. First, notice how your inner rhythm changes. You might wake in the middle of the night with a soft clarity you've never had before. It's not anxiety. It's a wake up call from the inside, a gentle alert that says, pay attention. Sleep can feel lighter. Dreams are sharper. If that's happening, drop a comment. My night's changed. This is one of the quiet ways. God adjusts your internal clock so your spirit is awake when heaven speaks. Second, senses sharpen. Colors feel brighter. Music hits you differently. Smells bring memories that land like prayers. You might sense people's pain without them saying a word. That's not your imagination. It's your spirit tuning in. When your senses go up, the world becomes a sacrament. Everything is a sign. If this is true for you, right? I sense more below. Third, things detach. Not everything you used to cling to feels important anymore. Jobs, titles, irrelevant arguments, they drop weight. Your appetite for superficial approval shrinks. This detachment is a holy thinning, a pruning. God removes clutter so your heart can face Him. If you've been surprised by how little you care about certain things now, type, I'm being pruned. Fourth, an increasing hunger for silence. You used to fill time with noise, scrolling, or small talk. Now silence feels like a doorway. You find yourself stepping away, not to run from life, but to run toward the voice. If you're finding yourself craving quiet, comment, I choose silence. Fifth, physical sensations that don't always make sense. A warm presence at your shoulder, a tightening in your chest that reads like holy reverence, or a pressure behind the eyes during prayer. These are often the body's language for what the spirit is experiencing. If you've had unfamiliar physical nudges during worship or prayer, share, I felt it physically. Sixth, relationships shift. People you assumed would be lifelines fade out quietly, and others appear, sometimes unexpectedly, who understand what you can't yet say. Your circle gets narrower but truer. That pruning isn't punishment. It's protection. If you've lost friends and then found truer ones, say, my circle changed. Seventh, sudden clarity about unresolved things, old hurts, unspoken forgiveness, words you never said. There's a sudden urgency to mend, to confess, to reconcile. It's as if heaven wants your ledger cleared before the meeting. If you feel compelled to make things right, comment, I'm reconciling. Eighth, spiritual resistance ramps up. The closer you get to meeting God, the more the enemy will try to distract and disorient you. Expect random storms, sudden fatigue, tempers, doubts, or people stirring trouble. Those are not signs you should stop. They're signs you've arrived at the threshold. When the pressure rises, say, I stand firm. Ninth, prophetic words, confirmations, and coincidences multiply. You'll hear a phrase in a sermon, read a line in a book, or receive a text that lands exactly where your heart is. These coincidences are God's breadcrumb trail. If confirmations have multiplied for you lately, right? I see the breadcrumbs. 10th, an increasing sense of destiny, like invisible hands are, rearranging circumstances. Doors that were shut begin to crack open. An unexpected check comes through. A phone call you didn't know to expect changes everything. Favor seems to flow to you in ways that feel impossible, until you realize it's not random. It's preparation. If you've experienced a sudden favor, say favor is here. Now let me slow down and walk through these signs with real tenderness. Because a meeting with God is not a spectacle to chase. It is a holy appointment to prepare for. This is a sacred process, and it deserves devotion, not performance. When your nights change, when you find yourself waking at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., don't be afraid. Instead, lean into those hours. Light a candle, open a Bible, pray quietly, or simply sit in stillness and listen. Those hours are often where the spirit is most attentive. Keep a journal near your bed. Write down words, images, and impressions. Months from now, Those notes will read like a map of how God led you. If your senses sharpen, practice discernment. Not everything that feels big is God. Test what you feel with Scripture, prayer, and godly counsel. Ask for clarity aloud. Lord, show me if this is from you. God will confirm through Scripture, through peace, and through people who love truth. If things detach, if your appetite for approval falls away, celebrate. This is a holy narrowing. Resist the temptation to replace worldly applause with spiritual pride. Let the detachment humble you. Say, I choose God's applause over man's approval. If silence is calling you, schedule it. Block out an hour in the morning or the evening for uninterrupted communion. Turn off notifications. If your mind resists, start with 5 minutes. Build the muscle of listening. The meeting is rarely loud. Most times it's a whisper that only the quiet can hear. When physical sensations happen, anchor them with gratitude, but also with wisdom. Check your health where needed. God uses doctors as much as miracles. If anxiety or fear creeps in, bring it to community rather than attempting heroic solitude. If you feel an overwhelming sense of reverence, let it lead you to worship. When relationships shift, don't chase everyone back to your life. Those who belong will come back differently, more genuine, less demanding. Those who leave were not built for what's next. Protect your heart, but stay open to reconciliation. If you're sensing a call to fix things, start small. One conversation, one call, one humble apology if you need to offer it. When resistance ramps up, it's time to fast and to pray more deliberately. Fasting isn't a spiritual stunt. It's a way to quiet the body so the spirit can lead. Pair it with scripture, Psalm 46, Isaiah 40, or the Psalms of David are anchors in tumultuous seasons. But keep it wise. Hydrate, be sensible with your health, and involve a mentor if you're new to fasting. When confirmations multiply, keep record. Put dates next to prophetic words and the events that confirm them. You'll build faith for yourself and for others. God is not random. He is methodical. When favor comes, steward it well. Favor often precedes responsibility. Don't spend what you don't have. Don't brag. Give generously. Use unexpected resources to bless others and to build kingdom momentum. If a door opens, step through with humility and careful planning. There are spiritual disciplines that prepare you practically for this meeting. Number 1, confession. Clear your heart. Say out loud, Lord, show me anything in me that is wrong. Let God search and clean. Number 2, alignment. Let your life line up with what you say you believe. Small disobedience becomes large distance. Number 3, worship. Worship opens channels. It's a language the soul uses to meet God. Number 4, generosity. Give what you have. Generosity extends the meeting beyond you, to your family and community. Expect a moment that does not look the way you imagined. For many, the meeting with God is not a brilliant light and a choir. It's a tenderness, God removing things from your life. A voice, a presence, a profound peace. For others, it's an overwhelming love that changes desires instantly. For some, it will be a calling that changes a career, a marriage, or a ministry. Whatever form it takes, it leaves you different. Let me give you 3 stories of ordinary people who found extraordinary encounters, so you see how personal and unique each meeting can be. First, a nurse who had been exhausted for years kept waking at 3 a.m. with a persistent thought to visit different wings of her hospital. She obeyed the nudges, sat with patients who had no family, and one night a man asked her to read scripture. That night, the man, dying and terrified, met Jesus, not with angels trumpeting, but with quiet peace. The nurse later told me God rewired her body to carry the ministry of presence. She still works late shifts, but she never misses the 3 a.m. wake ups. Second, a single mom who felt the world closing in on her. Her left hand bore a small scar she had never noticed. When she slowed down, she started dreaming of a playground filled with laughing children, and she felt an urgency to start a small community program. Doors opened, donations arrived, people volunteered. Months later, the program supported dozens of kids and prevented some from entering dangerous streets. She says the meeting with God wasn't a dramatic one. It was a slow yes, an empowerment to build. Third, a pastor who experienced a wave of confusion and loss. He lost a church job, went through a season of despair, and thought his calling was over. In the middle of that wilderness, he had a powerful clarity, a vision of a simple house where people could gather and learn. He followed the vision, and years later that house turned into a movement that fed thousands. His meeting with God rewired his disappointment into resilience. If these stories encourage you, type, "Yes, I see" in the comments. When you testify, you invite others to believe. Now, some practical warnings. Not every spiritual thrill is from God. The enemy can counterfeit emotion, pressure, and revelation. How do you test it? Does it lead to love? Does it glorify God more than you? Does it align with Scripture? Does it prompt humility rather than pride? If the answer is yes, keep going. If no, slow down.